The best action games of 2022 are full of fast-paced, adrenaline-pumping narratives and an immersive, dynamic experience that keeps players on the edge of their seats. This year's video game releases in 2022 are unbelievable. Although video game genres are more fluid than ever, we focused on the PC games that prioritize action-packed thrills above all else for this list, and will highlight a few adventure games that we believe you should check out this year. Do you want to be kept up to date on the latest gaming industry news and releases? Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and click on the bell button for the most up-to-date information on all things gaming. Monkey Island 2: LeChuck's Revenge.
Well, Guybrush Threepwood, how did you get into this mess?
It's kind of a long story.
Oh, that's okay. I've got time.
The Monkey Island series is cherished for its witty humor, inventive and difficult puzzles, and endearing characters. The Monkey Island games are adventure puzzlers that follow the story of plucky wannabe pirate Guybrush Threepwood. Threepwood has fallen out of Elaine's good graces after defeating the ghost pirate LeChuck and winning over the lovely Governor Elaine Marley in the secret of Monkey Island, and has decided to pursue the fabled treasure of Big Whoop. Monkey Island 2 is the pinnacle of the outrageous comedy-adventure genre, as well as one of the best adventure games for the PC. They don't get any funnier than this, and the special edition improves on it with pitch-perfect voice acting, painted backgrounds, and a remastered soundtrack. Monkey Island 2 Special Edition has something for everyone. Fans will enjoy the colorful commentary from the franchise creators and the unlockable art gallery, while those who have been intimidated by previous adventure games will appreciate the simplified controls, object highlighting, and hint system. Day of the Tentacle Remastered.
Look, Hoagie, it's a hamster! Just what I need for dissection lab tomorrow.
I think I need that for the band, Laverne. You know, like we could bite its head off or whatever.
Day of the Tentacle Remastered aims to transport you back in time when adventure games were at their peak, and it succeeds. It's the story of an evil tentacle who wants to take over the world and three time-traveling teenagers on a mission to stop him. Created by a dream team of adventure game developers, including Tim Schafer, Dave Grossman, Peter Chan, and Ron Gilbert. The game's true strength is its puzzles. Day of the Tentacle avoids the extreme complexities of previous LucasArts titles, as well as the harsh standards of Sierra's adventure games. Day of the Tentacle Remastered shines much brighter in the remastered category. As backgrounds transform into bright and joyful cartoon landscapes, the transition from pixel art to something more hand-drawn is striking. Day of the Tentacle Remastered is a beautifully crafted recreation of the original game, and Double Fine's smoothing out some of its rougher edges makes it more approachable for modern audiences. However, its revisions are only so deep that it can't quite elevate source material that elicits chuckles rather than the riotous giggle fits that it clearly expects. Night in the Woods. It's all about the little things in Night in the Woods. Although some pacing issues dampen the excitement of the second half of this side-scrolling, story-driven adventure, you'll never lose interest in the adorable anthropomorphic animal cast's personal stories, whose individual struggles and flaws make them surprisingly human and often painfully relatable. Night in the Woods manages to capture the fears and anxieties of being a young adult with surprising clarity, but thanks to its creator's deep understanding of rural America's economic hardships, it takes it into new and interesting territory. Night in the Woods' gamier aspects isn't its strongest suit, but it does make good use of being interactive. The fact that you have a lot to say over which characters you interact with and how often you do so makes the bonds you form feel more personal. Perhaps it's because you sought them out rather than having them pushed upon you. Indeed, much of Night in the Woods is concerned with this question: what are we forced to do, and what can we choose for ourselves? There are no easy answers to that question contained within. The answers that are unearthed, however, are terrible, beautiful, and achingly humane in a way that will leave you with tears in your eyes. Kentucky Route Zero. For years, video games have provided some of the best, wildest, most moving, or revealing stories we've told ourselves, rather than books, movies, or television. Kentucky Route Zero is a lovely poetry generator disguised as a point-and-click adventure game. It's frequently visually stunning and beautifully written throughout. Playing Kentucky Route Zero feels like a journey through time, with each episode becoming more ambitious and unexpected than the last. As a result, even when played back-to-back, each act is delightfully surprising. Despite the broken leg, the charming characters and captivating writing will keep you interested the entire time. The delivery of its magical modern-day story can be ham-fisted at times, stuttering like a dying old delivery van, but the creativity with which it delivers its dialogue and the freedom you have to shape it towards your interests makes this an ethereal road trip worth taking. We doubt there will ever be another. It is a one-of-a-kind achievement, a deconstruction of American myth, a road trip simulator, and a vision of our world on the verge of dreaming that are more true and real than almost anything seen in daylight. One must ultimately experience it for oneself, because only you will see it the way you see it. That's exactly how it's supposed to work. Life is strange.
When I moved to Haven Springs, I hadn't seen my brother Gabe in years.
Alex! It's just so good to see you again. Welcome to Haven.
This place is pretty sweet.
Life is Strange is the second major game released by a development team that approaches its games differently than most game developers. Remember Me, Don't Nod Entertainment's first release, appeared on the surface to be a standard sci-fi action-adventure, but underneath were themes of memory, identity, and presence. Even more intriguing, rather than cutscenes and exposition, these concepts were frequently explored through gameplay. Life is Strange fully embraces the concept of gameplay-derived storytelling. All of the previous game's rote action mechanics have vanished, as have the overwhelming sci-fi cityscapes and grand corporate conspiracies. One such game takes a detour to provide players with a more personal story told through the accessible mechanics of an adventure game. You will play as a teen girl dealing with life in a small town. You'll discover that Max is no ordinary girl and that Arcadia Bay is a strange town as the game progresses. But even as the mystery deepens, the game's roots remain. In the game, Max will discover a fantastical ability, but the most powerful tool to wield for players will be common sense in listening to and observing what's going on around you, because your choices will ultimately lead you to the game's conclusion. Chuchel. Chuchel is the newest title from Czech developer Amanita Design, better known for its charming, if occasionally bizarre, point-and-click adventure games. This includes both the surreal Samarost series and the touching Machinarium, a game about two robots in love. The studio's games are often very different in terms of theme, but they all have a lot in common. They're gorgeous, surreal, and don't rely on words to convey a story or feeling. Chuchel is the same, but it's also the studio's funniest game to date. Despite their strangeness, the puzzles are surprisingly simple. Adventure games are notorious for their convoluted and frequently incomprehensible puzzles, but Chuchel manages to avoid this. Sure, the tasks you must complete in the game are strange, but they make sense within the world's logic. Chuchel's playful nature also plays a role in this. Because of how silly they are, you want to try out all of the different interactions, which gives you ideas for how to actually progress. Chuchel also intersperses its many puzzles with lighter arcade sequences in which you can do everything from pilot a leaf through a maze of bouncy balls to play bizarro world versions of Tetris and Pac-Man. Whether it's a gelatinous blob taunting you with musical laughter or a collection of hats that change the weather when you put them on, the scenes are strange and hilarious, and you can't help but laugh. Every little detail of the game is packed with charm. Grim Fandango. Playing a classic adventure game, it's like seeing a skeleton get up and start walking around again in Grim Fandango, which is exactly what afterlife travel agent Manny Calavera does in this Day of the Dead-inspired tale. The passage of time has done little to diminish Grim Fandango's reputation as one of the best adventure games ever created, and the fact that it required so little modernization only adds to its status as a genre classic. Although it may appear to modern gamers to be punishing at times, keep in mind that failure is not an option. It's full of interesting facts and amusing retrospective observations about what was going on in the heads of the tightly knit team who put this thing together. They're scattered throughout the story and are only a button's press away. And with that, we have reached the credit scene of today's video. If you like this video, do go and check out the top 10 best anime games of 2022. See you at the next one.